Chapter Jack. Epilogue. The bus leaves in 2 hours. Stella said she saved our seats in the back. The ride home sure will be different from the ride here. I look around the cabin that had been my home for the last 2 weeks, except for the night we all slept in the shed. I bet my treehouse is going to feel small now. The cabin looks strange without clothes and stuff everywhere. I toss my pile of books onto the bed when a piece of paper I was using as a bookmark falls out. I recognize it as one of the Eclipse articles Mike had given me when I left. On the same page is a short sidebar I hadn't noticed before called "The Death of Our Sun and the Beginning of Our Immortality." I start to tuck it back in the book, but with a title like that, I have no choice but to read it. The article says how in a few billion years, the sun will have used up all the hydrogen inside it and will swell up, absorbing the planet Mercury and making life on Earth uninhabitable. Then the sun will shrink until it's really small. And then a few billion years after that, it will eject gusts of matter from all around it, including what's left of the earth and the atoms of everyone who has ever lived there. The atoms will be sent out into the farthest reaches of space to become parts of other stars and planets and creatures. I think of something Allie said one of my first few nights here. It was during her nightly lecture. She said that the atoms in our bodies came from stars that exploded. I guess what comes around goes around. I tucked the article back into the book, for some reason knowing that my atoms are going to one day arrive at the other end of the universe. It's kind of comforting. The screen door bangs open. Team EXO has come to say goodbye. Gonna keep working out, right? Ryan says. I expect to see you here next year ready to beat me in a race. I promise him I'll keep working out, but not to plan on beating him in anything. Kenny and Melanie make me swear that if I'm falling behind in school to contact them for help. I'm not even embarrassed that they're just kids. I've stopped thinking of them that way. The three of them leave, and it's just me, Bree, and Allie. We stand around looking at each other and at the near empty cabin. Finally, Bree asks, "So what do you guys know about space junk?" Space junk? Allie repeats. Yeah, all the stuff zooming around in space. It's a big threat, to astronauts and satellites and lots of other things. I know what it is, Allie says with a smile. I just don't think I've ever heard you ask about anything, well, scientific. I wait to see if that's going to tick Bree off, but she just says, I'm going to have a lot of time on my hands soon. Might as well fill it up. I put my hands. Don't look at me. My dad has some information on it, Allie says. I'm sure he'll give it to you. Cool. And then, because she's Bree, she knows when to make an exit. So, Jack in the Box, keep it real. I hope we'll see you next summer for the star party, that is. That is, if I make it a whole year around here without going stark raving mad. You'll make it, I assure her, and I'm going to be here, even if I have to fail another class to do it. She gives me a quick hug goodbye, just long enough to whisper in my ear, keep flying. You too, I whisper back. I'm glad Bree wanted to learn about the whole lucid dreaming thing. I think it will improve her inner life. It will prove her inner life is bigger than she thought. My own goal is to do the opposite, to make outer life as big as my inner one. Bree turns at the door and calls to Allie. Dinner at 6? You bet. Remember tonight's music and television. Tomorrow's movies and fashion. I remember, Allie says. The door closes behind me. She's teaching me the ways of the world, Allie explains. She lent me her iPod and is testing me on it tonight. Testing me. I have something for you too, I tell her and reach over to my dresser. I hand her the picture on top. No testing involved. Wow, Allie says, gazing down at the picture in her hand and then up at me. You drew this? It must have taken forever. It didn't take that long. Actually, it did, but I didn't mind. I don't tell her that I was so engrossed in making it that I almost missed the eclipse. That's me, right? I laugh. Yes, that's you. Can't you tell? I figured it was me, but how many times does a girl see herself standing on top of a comet in outer space? What other girls do you know who could be riding on a comet? None, she admits. And how many do you know who would be wearing a meteorite around her neck with the words Alpha Girl on their superhero outfits? Again, none. Well, there you have it then. It must be you. She runs her hand over it, and I cringe a little, hoping the pencil doesn't smear. I'm going to have to get used to showing other people my stuff. After Bree told me she's seen what I drew in the art house, she made me promise to join the art club at school. She still scares me a little, and somehow she'll know if I don't do it. No one's ever done anything like this for me. I'm going to frame it and hang it up as soon as we get settled. She pauses for a few seconds and then says, Jack, do you ever worry you'll forget about the eclipse? I shake my head. She smiles. Me neither. It seemed like it lasted a lifetime, but also like no time at all. I know exactly what you mean, she says. But if the memory does start to fade, you can always look at this. I whip out the photograph from Bree and hand it to her. Her eyes glisten as she looks up at me. She holds it close to her chest, and the gravity of her situation hits me fully for the first time. She's completely walking into the unknown and leaving behind everything she loves. But not everyone. Seeing the way she and Kenny are together has made me wonder if there's hope for me and Mike. Plus, she's Alpha Girl. She's going to do amazing things. We don't talk as I throw the last few things into my duffel bag. Toothpaste, souvenir mug, sweaty running shorts. And I'm about to zip up the bag. She reaches in and grabs something. What's this? She holds up the stuffed bunny that I hid in the duffel bag since my arrival. The words I had practiced, it's not mine. Some kid left it on the bus, spring to my head. But what comes out of my mouth is, my dad put him in the crib for me when he left. It's the only thing he ever gave me. Well, besides life. I hold my breath as she gently rests the bunny back in the bag. He's a really special bunny, she says. I can tell. I don't say anything for a minute. Allie? Yeah. I take a deep breath and smile. Wherever you wind up, I wish you clear skies. You too, she says, and when she hugs me goodbye, she smells like fresh air.